Moving on. Alloconcert again. Back-to-back questions for the win. Ding, ding, ding. You get a free play. Why can't you just get with the times and admit that our Constitution has changed, that our living Constitution has changed? Once again, one of these arguments ready to pounce on conservatives for our rigidness and mean-spiritedness and our tininess of flexibility. That ain't true. Of course the Constitution changes. To the degree that the Constitution changes, it is a living document. But if you're going to claim that the Constitution is a living document in order to get your socialism, then unfortunately for you, you have to actually change the document. You don't get to just say that the document changes. You have to actually change the document. The founders, in their wisdom, did put in mechanisms to change the document. But you have to change the document in order to get the living document changes that you want. You don't just get to claim it's a living document and changes all the time and therefore I have all the power I want. If you want a constitution to give you authority for something that you think you deserve now that wasn't around when the founders are here, then yes, it is a living document. Yes, the Constitution can be changed. So get out there and change the Constitution, but you can't because you won't, you miserable, low-life, lying bastards. Right? Okay. Glad we got that out of the way. Those people who say we should, well, welfare is because the document's a living document, the Constitution changes all the time. The Constitution changes by constitutional amendment. If you want a constitutional amendment that says that we should give money from people who work to people that don't and in unlimited amounts, then go ahead and try and pass the 28th Amendment. I dare you. I dare you. I dare you. You can't. You want to repeal guns? You don't like the Second Amendment? You don't think that individual citizens should have the right to keep and bear arms? Then make the 28th Amendment say the Second Amendment to the Constitution of the United States is hereby repealed. Period. Do it. Because if you do that, then you will have the constitutional authority to do what you're doing without the constitutional authority. Yes, it is a living document. By all means, go out there and make your living document live and get the constitutional amendment you need. But you can't do it because you can't do it. You can't do it because you can't do it. So, that's the response to that, ladies and gentlemen. Is it a living document? It is. Are you in favor of it being a living document? I am, actually, even though horrible damage was done to this country as a result of constitutional amendments. And if you want to ask me which constitutional amendment was the worst, I will tell you it is, in my mind, by far the 17th Amendment. Thought I was going to say 16th, right? Thought I was going to say income tax. No. It was the amendment that made senators elected by the population and not by the states, because once that happened, the states no longer had any power to protect their own interest, and the federal power grab began apace. That was the worst thing we ever did in this country, was the 17th Amendment. But we did it, so now what we have to do is repeal it. Repeal the 17th Amendment. Get out there and explain to the American people. Are you saying that you don't want the people to elect senators? How undemocratic is that? I am saying I don't want the people to elect senators, and the reason I'm saying it is because it is undemocratic. Precisely correct, yes. The Founding Fathers, in their wisdom, provided a place for the people to have a voice, and it's called the House of Representatives. The founders, in their wisdom, also maintained large amounts of political power in the hands of the states because they figured that if they didn't, somebody would try to collect all the power over where the federal government is. Guess what? Guess what? That's exactly what's happening. So yes, do the people of Alabama, let's say, or Oregon have a voice? Do we have a right to canvass the people of Alabama or Oregon as examples for their input on politics? We do. And they can elect representatives to the House of Representatives, which is the people's house. But the state of Alabama has interests that are different necessarily than the people that live in Alabama. And the state of Oregon also has interests that are different than the people of Oregon. And by protecting the interests of the state of Alabama and Oregon, we protect the people of Alabama and Oregon from the powers of the federal government, which would be greater if the states don't have power. The 17th Amendment destroyed that. They destroyed the power structure separation in America. And it was a catastrophe, and we need to undo it. And frankly, that's what I think we ought to do. I think as conservatives ought to go out there and basically say, hey, you know what, there's two, we talk about the First Amendment and the Second Amendment, Fifth Amendment. No, there's two amendments that we need to be talking about. The 10th Amendment and the 17th Amendment. The 10th Amendment says that those powers not specifically allocated to the federal government are reserved to the states or to the people. That means to you or to where you live. That means that the people in Washington don't get to tell you everything about you or where you live. If you live someplace, you have a different say than somebody who lives someplace else. Don't you like that? Yeah, well, you should get the 10th Amendment memorized. And the 17th Amendment took the teeth out of the 10th Amendment, so we need to make that go away. We repealed prohibition. Let's repeal the 17th Amendment. And while we're at it, let's repeal the 16th. As a matter of fact, why don't we just have the 28th Amendment basically say we hereby repeal the 16th and 17th Amendment? Like prohibition, they were miserable, awful, terrible ideas by a bunch of busybody progressive douchebags who got in there and messed up things for everybody. We gave it a try, didn't work out. Okay, it's a living document, by God. Living document means we get to correct mistakes, and then we get to correct mistakes that were also corrections to mistakes. So off we go. That's it. Boom. Period. Okay.